what we're going to do is we're going to practice these 4 vocabulary words and phrases that we learned from chapter 49. But we're going to focus on pronunciation, intonation, and accentuation. So now's your chance to improve your accent if that's what you want to do. Okay, Pachu, are you familiar with the first phrase, to be acquainted with something? Have you seen that before?
Yes, yes.
What does that mean?
Miss familiar, fam, yeah, familiar.
To be familiar with something. So maybe you just know it a little bit, not a lot, right?
Yes.
Can you read the example sentence that we have for that word?
Okay. I am acquainted with basic coding, but I'm not an expert.
Okay. All right. Now, if we look at the first 4 words, how would you say that?
I'm acquainted with,
All right. And what is the most important word, do you think, in that phrase? I am acquainted with.
acquainted,
Acquainted. And where's all the power in that word?
ac- acquainted,
Quain.
qua,
Quain. That's it. Now that's the sound that you
quain,
have a problem with. So it's not quan. It's quain. Great. Quain.
quain,
Yeah,
quain,
that's right. That's good. That's the way it should sound. Quain. All right.
quain,
So that's
quain,
yeah, that's really important sound in this phrase. So it's important that we pronounce it very clearly. Quain.
quain,
How will you say
quain.
how will you say those 4 words together like it's one word?
I, I'm quained with.
I'm imuck. Say
I'm,
imuck.
I'm, ac-
I'm acquaint
I'm,
I'm acquainted with. I'm acquainted with.
I'm, I am, I am acquainted with.
I'm acquainted with. Make quain bigger.
I, I'm acquainted
Ma.
with.
You got to say
I
ma.
am acquainted with.
Ma. You have to say ma. Not I'm acquainted. You have to say I'm ma acquainted. Ma. I'm acquainted with.
I, I'm, I'm acquainted with. I'm acquainted with.
All right. What are the next 2 words?
The basic coding
Okay, basic coding. In that phrase, which word do you think is most important? Basic or coding?
is a basic,
That's
basic.
because usually the adjectives are more important, get more emphasis than the noun that they describe. Which syllable will get all of the energy in that word? Basic.
Is a ba- basic first. Basic,
The first one.
basic.
The first one. Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm
first one. Basic.
I'm acquainted with basic coding.
I'm acquainted with basic coding.
Okay. Now, what about the next one, two? Well, let's do the whole thing. What do you think is the most important word in that final phrase?
So expert,
Okay. Now, is it expert or expert? Which one is correct?
expert,
Yeah. So,
expert.
where's the accent? Where's all the power in that word?
As opposed to
Yeah.
the
Yeah. It's not
expert,
the second. It's not the second. It's not expert, but expert. Expert. Expert.
expert. I usually did this on second syllable,
Yeah.
so
You have to
it
change.
is my. I have to change. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
expert is
Yeah, because
expert.
that's
Yeah,
one of the big things about that's one of the big problems. If people don't understand you, that and vowel sounds will
yeah,
probably be the reason. So
yes. Big,
go ahead.
yeah. So just I am thinking that if in a speech, if our audience is not understanding, then this is not their fault. This is my fault because I have to make them understandable. Yeah, this is my job.
Yes,
So yeah, I have to do my
but if they don't understand you, probably the reason is the vowel sound or the vowel length or the accent where you're
yes,
using the accent.
yes, yes. Accent. Yeah, accent is
Very,
yes,
very, very important. You can do everything else right, but if you get the accent wrong, if you put the power on the wrong syllable, it will be very hard to understand sometimes.
yeah,
Okay, how will you say
yes.
"but I'm not an" like it's one word?
But I am not an expert.
But I'm
But
but
I
I'm
am
but I'm not
uh,
an but I'm not an but I'm not an but I'm not an.
but I am not
Say
not an.
say "ba"
But I am not an.
say "ba" say "ba"
Ba
say
ba.
but I'm but I'm
But
say
I'm
say but I'm nah.
but I'm no. But I'm no.
Say but I'm not an
But I'm not in. Not in.
but I'm not an expert.
But I'm not an expert.
That's right. So I'm acquainted with basic coding, but I'm not an expert.
I am acquainted with basic coding, but I'm not an expert.
But I'm not an.
Not.
But I'm not an. But I'm not an expert.
But I am not an expert.
Okay.
But I am not an expert.
How many phrases can we divide this sentence into?
So two.
What are the two phrases?
So I am acquainted with basic coding.
Okay. But I'm not
Yeah.
an expert.
And the next and the second is but I am not an expert.
Okay.
Not an expert.
Not an expert. Not an expert. Not an expert. All right.
But uh,
Go ahead.
but not an expert.
hmm Okay. Now, in
Mm.
the first phrase, I'm acquainted with basic coding. How would you like this to sound? Do you want it to sound serious or would you like it to sound friendly and nice?
As a serious.
Serious?
Serious.
Serious.
Yeah.
Serious. Okay. So,
Serious.
so we're going to we'll finish our phrase in a low tone, but we'll also want to keep low tones because that sounds more serious if you talk in a low tone. So this is basic coding. Basic coding.
Yes. Basic coding.
But how will you
Basic
start
coding.
how will you start the phrase?
As a high tone.
Okay.
Acquainted.
Acquainted.
I was
Acquainted.
I was acquainted. I was sorry.
I'm
I
acquainted
am acquainted.
with
I am I am acquainted with basic coding.
okay, I'm acquainted with basic coding.
I am acquainted with basic coding.
Okay. And how will you like the next phrase to sound? Do you want that to sound serious or nice and friendly?
Yeah, is serious.
So you're being very serious today, Pachu. All right. So we'll say expert. Expert. We'll finish with a very low. Just keep it flat and low. Expert. Okay.
Expert, expert,
But how will we start the phrase?
is a high tone, is
Oh,
a but but I am not not an expert.
but I'm not an expert. Oh, I did that high. But I'm not an expert.
But I am not an expert.
I'm acquainted with basic coding, but I'm not an expert. Oh, I did high again. I keep doing it. But I'm not an expert.
Okay. I am acquainted with basic coding, but I am not an expert.
Okay. Expert or expert, which one?
Expert.
Yeah, don't add too much tone to that. You can if you want, but that doesn't sound very natural to do that. Okay.
Okay, so expert.
All right. Let's make a question. Let's see. Can you make a what you acquainted with question? What you
What what I- what I am acquainted with.
use the word you. What you acquainted with, like you're
What?
asking someone.
Okay. So what are you acquainted with?
Okay. What is the most important word in that question? What are you acquainted with?
Is a what?
Okay.
Is a what?
If it's important, how does it sound?
So what are you acquainted with?
Let's just take it step by step. So we have what because it's important. Let's make it big. What? What?
What?
How does it sound if
What?
what plus R plus you?
What? What are you? What are
What?
you?
What are you? What are you? What are you?
What are you? What are you? What are you?
What are you acquainted with?
What do you? What are you acquainted with?
What are you acquainted with?
What are you acquainted with?
Okay. What is the answer?
I am acquainted with basic coding.
I'm a I'm acquainted with basic coding.
I'm acquainted with basic coding.
I'm acquainted with basic coding. Okay. Let's move on to
I
our.
am acquainted with.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am acquainted with basic coding.
I'm acquainted with basic coding. All right. Let's move on to our next word today frigid.